motion of a charge moving in a magnetic field. Here we take uniform magnetic field. So what will happen when a charge particle move in a uniform magnetic field? We know the magnetic force or Lorentz force on a charge particle is given by F is equal to Q into V cross B, where Q here is the point charge and V is the velocity of the particle and B is the applied magnetic field. The direction of the magnetic force is governed by right hand thumb rule. Since magnetic force is perpendicular to the velocity of the charged particle, no work is done. This condition produces a centripetal force on the charged particle. Look to this figure. In this figure, suppose the cross symbol represents the direction of magnetic field along the positive direction of the x-axis. Suppose this is the positive direction of x-axis in the plane of the paper, and the direction of cross represents the direction of the magnetic field along the positive direction of the x-axis. You remember, cross means away. You remember, cross means away, whether it is horizontal or vertical, and dot means towards, whether it is horizontal or vertical. When you give a cross symbol, it is away from you. That means it is along the positive direction of the x-axis, and V here represent the velocity of the charged particle, which is suppose say along the positive direction of the y-axis. So velocity of the charged particle Q, here the charged particle is Q, velocity of the charged particle Q is along the positive direction of y-axis, and the magnetic field is along the positive direction of the x-axis. Then applying right hand thumb rule here, the magnetic force, the direction of the magnetic force will be along the negative direction of the z-axis. That is, charged particle will rotate in the yz plane. This will rotate in the yz plane, and the direction of the charged particle will be along the force on the charged particle will be along the negative direction of the z-axis. And this magnetic force along the negative direction of the z-axis will produce a centripetal force, because we know centripetal force have no origin, it originates from other force. So the negative direction here, in the negative direction of the z-axis, the magnetic force will produce a centripetal force in the yz plane. Remember, in the yz plane, and whose magnitude is equal to the magnitude means the magnitude of the magnetic force will be equal to Q into Vb, and that is equal to the magnitude of the centripetal force. So the magnitude of the centripetal force will be equal to the magnitude of the magnetic force. You see in this picture, if this is the charged particle and this is the direction of the magnetic field is along the positive direction of the x-axis, and the direction of the velocity is along the positive direction of the y-axis. Then in the yz plane, you see this is the yz plane, the charge will move in the yz plane, and the centripetal force on the charged particle will be in the yz plane. It is along the radius and towards the center in this direction. And if you see, here you see the velocity of the charged particle, if you have two components. If you have one component, then the direction of the force will be in this direction, and the centripetal force will be in this direction on the charged particle. Suppose the velocity have two components. one along this direction, y direction, and another along x direction. That is, here it is given v perpendicular and it is given v parallel. That means the velocity is along the direction of the magnetic field. Okay. So if velocity have two components, then what will happen? This perpendicular component of this velocity, v perpendicular, which produces the centripetal force on the charged particle in yz plane. Okay, this v perpendicular component of the velocity produces centripetal force on the yz plane. But the parallel component of this velocity, this one, this will be constant. This will be constant and is along the direction of the magnetic field. It will not change. And remember, this component of velocity, for this component of velocity, the magnitude of the velocity is constant, but the direction of the velocity is changing. But for this component of the velocity, the magnitude of the velocity is constant and the direction of velocity is also constant. For helical motion, we know when one component of the velocity produces circular motion and the other component of velocity is constant in magnitude and direction, then the particle undergo helical motion. This is the basic definition of the helical motion. When one component of the velocity produces circular motion and the other component of the velocity is constant in magnitude and direction, then the particle will undergo helical motion. So similar things happens here. This component, perpendicular component of the velocity is changing. Magnitude of the velocity is constant, but direction is changing. But this component of velocity is constant in magnitude and direction. That is why the charged particle will undergo a helical motion. It will produce a helical motion like this. And what should be the radius of the circular motion described by the charged particle? The magnetic force will be converted into the centripetal force, and centripetal force mv square by r is equal to the magnetic force q into vb. So the radius of the circular path will be equal to mv divided by qb. So you see, the larger the momentum of the particle, if the momentum of the particle, charged particle, will be larger, then the radius of the circular path will be larger or bigger will be the circle. Then let us know what is the pitch of the helical motion. Suppose the pitch of the helical motion is denoted by small p. What is pitch? The distance covered by the charged particle along the magnetic field is called the pitch, and it is denoted by small p. You can see here the distance moved by the charged particle along the magnetic field in this direction. This is called the pitch, and it is denoted by p. And we know v equal to s divided by t. So s will be equal to vt. Putting this relation, p will be equal to parallel component of the velocity into the time period. And we know the angular frequency omega is equal to twice pi by time period, and the linear velocity is equal to r into omega. R we have find out, that is equal to mv by qb, and omega is equal to twice pi by t. So time period of the helical motion will be equal to twice pi m divided by qb, and p will be equal to, if you put the value of time period here, then p will be equal to twice pi m into v parallel divided by q into b. And the radius of the circular component of the motion is called the radius of the helix. Then let us know what is the application of motion of charged particle in magnetic field. We know the frequency, linear frequency, is equal to qb divided by twice pi m. That is the frequency of the charged particle is independent of the velocity or energy. This is useful in the design of a cyclotron.